Welcome to the channel. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Now, if you guys remember, I did release an Aliexpress video at the start of March and I gave you my top 20 Aliexpress recommendations. Now, the watches really haven't changed since then, and nor have my recommendations. So I'm re-releasing this video in order for the sale on the 28th of March. Now, what I have done, I have removed a couple of recommendations, but I've stuck with the majority of watches. So please guys, take a look at this list, see which one you like, add it to your basket. And remember to use coupons, because that is where you'll make your biggest savings. And I hope everyone gets to buy what they've been wanting to buy for a good while. And first and foremost, let's just look at the Merkur watches. I've got to say, these are really great value for money. Absolutely gorgeous. 38mm case, great finishing and polishing. You've got a Hroudland style crystal and a mechanical hand winding movement. Great vintage appeal. This particular case, Merkur have made loads of variants in there. You've got one with the bezel, one without a bezel. And if you actually go onto Merkur's official store on Aliexpress, which we're on now, you can see a whole host of different variants. There's the salmon dial that I unboxed. It also comes in the cream and gold version. And just have a look around in the store. You'll find different versions of the same case, depending on what style suits your taste. Now, they are around the £70 to £90 mark, which is around $90 to maybe $120, depending on what you get. But this watch is built so well. You can also purchase them from Merkur's official website. So I've just had to throw this one in here because this has just been released a couple of weeks ago. This is a new Pagani design. It's a homage to the Tudor chronograph. As you guys know, San Martin made a homage to this not long ago as well. So, you know, it has been out. I have this one due in, and of course I've not reviewed it, but being Pagani, we know they are consistent. This movement is a Quartz Seiko VK64 movement, so we know that's a very safe movement as well. And, you know, looking at the pictures, I don't think there'll be many issues with it. The only issue that will be with the watch is, of course, the loom on the hands and the dial, but we know that's a given with them. Everything else should be pretty much okay. And you've got a case size of 39.5, as it states on this video on the specifications, thickness of 13mm with a lug-to-lug of 48mm. So in this sale, you can get this watch for under $100. The price is down to £56 from £70. So it is definitely worth considering if you want to take the plunge. Okay, next up on the list, of course, I have to feature Steeldive. They always are the budget favorite, and the one in particular I'm going to show you is the Steeldive SD1972. Now, this one's slightly different. They have made a slight change from the one that I unboxed. They have changed the handset, which I'm totally for. The handset is more in line with the turtle style rather than the Captain Willard style hands they had, which I don't think really suited the watch. But it's good they've made a slight little change. Now, the price of that, as you can see, is under £100. So you're looking roughly between $130 to $140. And as you know, fully spec'd out, stainless steel, sapphire, ceramic, NH36 movement, and 200 meters of water resistance. And of course, that classical turtle case shape. Now, of course, no Aliexpress video is complete without talking about the Steeldive SD1970. This one in particular is at £100, so perhaps just under $150. It does have the PT 5000 movement, and that's what's significant about it. Again, amazing value for money, giving you a high beat movement with such a well-built case. I think on this particular model, Steeldive have now ironed out all the QC issues. The bezel works great, and overall looks are good. I would recommend getting this watch with a waffle or a tropical style strap. It just looks so much better. Now, aside from the Steeldive, let's hit Sugess. Now, I've got two Sugess watches for you guys. This one I am trying to get a hold of. I do really want to get this in. I absolutely love the dial. It's had a fair few orders as well, and you can buy this from the Seestern Store or the Sugess Store. They both feature the same watches, but I am on the Seestern Store. And they've got a really stunning dial. I really like the moon phase. I like the starry sky on there, sapphire, etc. It's got all the specs, and yeah, it looks great. I gotta say, it is a 41mm watch as well. It's got the Seagull ST2528 automatic movement, and it looks good. And the next one, this is probably going to be the most expensive one that I'm going to feature on this video. It is, of course, the Daytona Homage. It does have the automatic 7750 clone movement. Also, I reviewed this on the channel. It is a gorgeous watch, slightly thick. I think that is my main criticism, you know, being at 14.5mm. But overall, it more than makes up for it. The level of finishing and detail present on this watch and its presence on wrist is absolutely amazing. And as you can see, 25 orders with a 4.9 star rating. Highly rated, but yes, pricey as well. Now, while we are looking at Seestern, of course, I don't need to show too much about it. Let's look at the Monster, for example, and let's see the prices we're getting at. So under £140 for what I think, in my opinion, is probably the best Monster Homage out there. I recently compared this to the Hroudland. Now, subjectives aside, this watch is finished just a little bit better than the Hroudland. Nicer hands, really nice dial options as well, and just overall feels so good. So you've got the classical dial colors, and of course the specifications like Sapphire, Seiko NS86 with a loom date wheel. Obviously great loom on the dial and the hands, BGW9, and overall really good build quality. But while I am on Seestern, of course the recommendations I'm also going to make is the Doxa Homage and maybe the Submariner Homage. In fact, pretty much all the homages that have come out, and especially the 62 Mass Homage, have been really good from Seestern. So feel free to check any one of those watches out. If you haven't bought one, now's your time to get one in. Aside from the Steeldive, let's move on to another brand that I have looked at a couple of times. It's called the Thorn brand. Now, I have looked at a couple of watches from Thorn. So, I'd say about 6 or 7 out of 10. I was impressed with them, but there were a few inconsistencies present. Now, this is the MM200 Homage. It's a smaller version to the MM300, of course. It also has a screw down case back, so a more wrist friendly watch. And of course, they've got great colors in this. You've got PVD version, you've got a green, you've got that teal blue, yellow, and of course that white pearl dial, and also a black pearl dial with a stainless steel bezel. All of them under £120. And these watches do look good. Looking at the reviews from various different agents, I think pretty much they're quite good. But as I said, the inconsistencies you will probably face will be things like the bezel rotation. Moving on to the next Thorn, this one I had for a while reviewed both this PVD and the silver version. This is a really great value for money watch. It's a dive watch with supposed 200 meters of water resistance. It's got a bespoke stainless steel bezel insert. It does have 120 click unidirectional bezel, but the main party piece of this watch is the fact that it has a fully functioning hands out 6460 GMT movement, which is a clone of the Swiss alternative. I thought this watch was built quite well. The bezel, you know, again, it was a bit iffy between the black one and the silver one. The one I had in particular rotated absolutely fine. Great loom, BGW9 if I can remember from the top of my head, and really great looks. I love the Seiko LX Marine Master series, or the Landmaster should I say, and this watch has done a great job homaging that, and the movement was awesome on it. It has high beat movement, very great accuracy, and overall just stunning looks with a Jubilee stainless steel bracelet. That is definitely worth considering. Now moving on to San Martin. Now I know San Martin, they are up there with the prices, but I have chosen probably the best value for money San Martins in my opinion. So the first I'm going to show you is the MM300 homage from San Martin. I've got one of these in, I did a review on it. Great watch, everything works as it should. Bezel's great, dial's good, movement's good, the bracelet is amazing, and the case finish is great. It ticks every single box, especially if you're a fan of the MM300 style of watch. Also has a screw down case back, and I really do like this watch. It is slightly big, but so is the MM300 that it is homaging. Definitely want to consider. Under £200, so probably a bit pricey, but it is really well built. The next San Martin I'm going to show you guys is the SNO76, I believe. It is a Sumo homage. I've got one of these in as well. There is a bit of a split between this and the MM300. Which one should you get? This is probably a bit more wrist friendly, just slightly, but maybe a more grown up or a dressier watch rather than just being a tool watch like the MM300 homage is. Nice dial colors, again, same exceptional finishing, great bracelet, and of course the usual specifications that you get, NH35, and yeah, overall really good and solid watch. Another San Martin I've got for you today is the Captain Willard homage. Now this has been revisited by San Martin with a upgraded bracelet, and you know, San Martin being who they are, the bracelet is going to be great. There's no point even second guessing that. You're going to have a better clasp, of course, more premium Captain Willard homage. Really nice detailing present on the crown. There is a difference, as you can see in the pictures. This newer crown has got slightly more knurling present, slightly different shape, which is definitely add to the grip. But you know, with San Martin, you're going to have great bezel rotation and really good build quality. Under £170, so it's a pretty decent price as well, considering the NH35 movements have kind of gone up slightly. Next up, we're going to look at two watches from Seig Flamma. I've done a couple of reviews on these watches. These are from the Andaya store, and you know what, this watch is amazingly well built, amazing value for money as well. Under £120. It can be argued that's probably the best value for money vintage diver out there on AliExpress. It's Homage in the Christopher Ward model. They've absolutely nailed the finishing on the case. The curvature, the facets, the full design on the case is amazing. Bezel rotation is good. The dial is great. The logos are great. The only thing is the case back is slightly rough, but in no way is it a deal breaker. We've got two colors, black and red, and with a nice blue. Packaging is good as well, so this watch is great value for money. Highly recommend this watch. I've still got mine. It's definitely something that is worth looking into and actually purchasing because it's so cheap and so well made. Second one on the Seig Flamma list is the GMT Diver that they came out with not too long after this. Very nice profile, very nice case shape. It comes with a hands out 6460 movement. Decent bracelet as well. Caseback does have the same issue. It's just slightly rough, but the bezel's great. Movement works as it should. Diver's extension on the clasp. Decent bracelet as well. 35 orders, coming in at 4.7 rating, so pretty decent as well. After that, now we're coming up to the end. Pagani Design. You know what? I've still got this silver one, the 39mm Explorer Homage. Really good. They've sold over 1,200 orders on this particular store at a rating of 4.7, so very highly rated. Of course, lume is going to be a problem, but you know, this watch, don't worry about the lume. Bracelet's good. The overall case shape is nice as well. It's got some really nice eye-catching dial colors. You've got a date and no date variant, one that does actually look great. Next up for Pagani Design, I have to mention this. I haven't looked at these watches in such a long time, except recently when I looked at the Sugess and the Parnis I've got. Is there Pagani Design? I've gone for the first one, the basic one, PD1644. If you want to get Daytona Homage, you want it to be budget, spend under $100 or £70 and get yourself this Merkur Quartz powered watch from Pagani Design. Works brilliant. Forget the lume, but finish is great, functionality is great. Everything about it actually ticks all the boxes. These watches are extremely popular. Sold over 1,400 orders on this particular store, but they've got to be in the 2000s by now, definitely. Great watches. And moving on to second to last, just looked at a watch from Hroudland. It's only sold one 5-star. Of course, it's a homage to a very popular brand. They're using a starry dial. I love that dial. I've not had any experience with Hroudland, but I know people who have, and they do make really well finished watches. They are slightly on the pricier side, but I'm sure there's a very good reason. You're looking at a PT5000 movement. I am trying my best to actually get this model in for review. I think it looks really well made and definitely something to bring to the table. So so around the £200 mark, slightly pricier, but you know, we've seen San Martin watches, and I would say some of the watches from San Martin at that price point are great as well. Definitely worth it. So there's no reason why this can't be. In pictures, it looks to be really well finished, but you know, don't take my word on it. And last but not least, reviewed this not too long ago. It is the Retangula Redune Captain Willard Homage 6105-8110. And I have to say, and a lot of you guys messaged back and said as well, that this is the most accurate homage to date of the 6105-8110. You know, the lug shape, the case shape, the width, everything is just great. The, you know, domed sapphire crystal used, aluminium bezel insert, that coinage bezel, and they built really well. You know, they've done really well with the 6105-8000, and they've done well with this one. It's called the R2X. Definitely worth getting if it's not something that you've already got. If you're a fan of traditional old school Seiko watches or homages, then you definitely need the Retangula in your collection. Really well finished, great attention to detail, and of course the usual specifications. It definitely has all those vintage aesthetics related to the Captain Willard. So that's my list of recommendations. I do think those are the watches to really look at. You know, they're really well made, and of course you've got my personal approval on them. And of course, please use the links that I put in the video description. always appreciate it, as it really does help out myself and the channel to bring you all this content and look at all these amazing watches for you guys. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on the next video.